So guys, today I want to do my 10 survival essential items, or my top 10 items that I would definitely be carrying or having at least on me for survival. These things are extremely important, and a lot of them cover over the very basics of life. Things like cover and combustion, extremely basic things, but things that are extremely important, as well as I want to show you guys what I would personally carry to cover these different subjects like combustion and cover. So without further ado, let's go over to the table and take a look at this gear. The first piece I'm going to be talking about is cover. I think cover, aside from combustion, is one of the most important things. And for me, this is what I carry a lot for cover. I carry this on the pack. You guys have been seeing more survival shelter videos coming out where I've been using this tarp a lot more. This one, by the way, is a 10 by 12. I really like the 10 foot by 12 foot size, and I think it allows you to build a lot of larger shelters, or maybe more medium-sized shelters. But overall, I really like that size. This is a rectangular shelter by the 10 by 12 instead of a 10 by 10. I do like the rectangular, ironically, a little bit more than square shelters. Most people are fans of square, but I actually like rectangles more. But this is what I carry, and I think that this piece, especially for the size it takes up and what you can do with this piece here, I think that this is an extremely important piece. And now having a tarp for survival particular, I really can't, or I have to recommend this being an essential item. Like, I would not recommend not having one of these. I recommend a tarp, because having had a tarp now for some time and actually being able to use it, I have really learned to just love the tarp shelter. I think it is such a great idea, and it's very important. I highly encourage you to definitely have a tarp, definitely use tarp shelters, because on a day like today where there's quite a bit of snow coming down, it's a great option to build a very fast shelter that's effective and allows you to get this snow out of your way or not build up in a particular area, and allows you to start capturing the heat that is coming off your body. But this is cargo tape, as they call it. I think some of you guys have chimed in and said this is 100-mile-an-hour tape. That might be one of its nicknames. I think that is one of its nicknames, but I don't know exactly what the name of this is. So if anyone wants to clear that up. But this is military, essentially military spec duct tape. I found it to work really great for me, and I highly encourage it, especially running with a tarp shelter. It is very great. So the next piece is a container. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. Seagull stainless steel pot. This is a smaller one, but overall I find it to be just as effective as a larger stainless steel pot. I really like how it closes all down, and it has an integrated handle, and you can keep even more stuff in here. For me, I have a handful of Starbucks Vias in here for instant coffee, and I have some like Ritz crackers in there, just as a couple little things as like side additions that are really good. You'll probably see coming is some kind of knife. For survival, I do recommend more heavy-duty knives and kind of larger, just in overall diameters and everything, just larger. This is, of course, a prepper one. Kind of fits in well with its name. This is a very thick knife. You guys can see this is nearly a 1/4 inch thick. So this is one of the thickest knives. This is the thickest knife I have on me right now, or in the collection, and one of the thickest I've ever had. So it is an extremely thick knife, and I think that's very good for survival, because when you have to run just one cutting tool, or one kind of tool option, you want an extremely thick and very robust knife. You want a knife that has very good edge retention, which this nylon steel definitely has. This knife has a lot going for it. Is Paracord. Once again, I have around 50 feet on this spool of Paracord here. 50 feet is great. I would probably even carry more if I could reasonably, but this is a pretty accurate representation, especially what I have in the backpack ready to go at all times, is at least 50 feet, and with that you can accomplish quite a bit. Once again, working with duct tape and working with tarps, you'll find that, especially when you use those two other other items, that you can really make your paracord go a lot further and do a lot more. So that is definitely something that I recommend. Is a headlamp, and I really do like headlamps. I think I mentioned this in the zombie survival kit. that I love the hands-free nature of these headlamps, and that is something that I really enjoy about this headlamp in particular. This one's a black diamond, and I found black diamond headlamps to be some of the best. Through Night also makes some awesome ones, but I have black diamond right now, and I really like this one, and that is probably my preferred lighting of choice. I also like on this one because it's a dimming switch, or a switch where you can go anywhere from its max lumen output to its lowest lumen output. It just has like this switch where it just goes from top to bottom and bottom to top, and I really like that. Overall, this is a really awesome headlamp. I don't know the name of this one. I don't even think they make this one anymore. This is quite an old one, but I love headlamps, especially for a survival situation when you want to be hands-free and you want to be able to use your hands for other operations other than holding a flashlight. The basics. A few of these I kind of went out and just kind of thought for myself. And then lastly is a compass. This one is sitting on a necklace done by Sanctified Weaving Company, or my company. I really like this setup. Has a little ferro rod on it as well. I really like this setup. Of course, having an awesome compass or a good quality compass is really nice to have in a survival situation, because navigation is extremely important to regardless to what you're doing. So I really like having that compass. For some of the obvious ones, a lot of these have been more kind of natural, is a ferro rod. This is a very thick Light My Fire Army with the 12,000 strikes. This is a coconut shell handled version of it, but still an Army 2.0. Love these ferro rods almost as much as I do Exotacs. Pretty much between Exotac and Light My Fire, they're really the only two ferro rod companies I use. There may be other good ferro rod companies out there, but those two I've had very good experiences with. I've never had their ferro rods break on me or do anything, and I've put Light My Fire and Exotac under some of the hardest tests, and they always work for me. So in case you guys see me using a lot of Light My Fire and Exotac products for ferro rods, that's why. Some of the less common things, and those are the first 8 that I would say are the highest priority of things. That really covers pretty much your basic day-to-day life. These other 2 are what I would deem pretty necessary, but if you didn't have them, you could probably go along pretty well. What I have here is just tripwire. This is Army tripwire. You guys have seen this in a few of my other survival kits, or at least one of them, and I really like this stuff. I keep forgetting about it, like honestly, I keep wanting to put it into survival kits, but I forget I even have it, but it's super useful. Traps are something that's very nice to have, because they're really like a whole bunch of small hunters out there hunting for you. So setting snares and traps with tripwire. Once again, the awesome thing about tripwire is because it's not a very thick gauge, you can actually use it in conjunction with other spring-styled traps. So if you wanted to use spear-styled traps, you could also use tripwire as the setting-off piece for a spring trap. Or a spear tree is a first aid kit. This is just a military IFAC approved first aid kit. I really like having this because you never know when you'll get hurt. I mean, I don't generally get hurt very often, but when I do hurt myself, I hurt myself pretty bad. I have hurt myself a few times out in the woods, where I had to actually use bandages to stop bleeding. So I really like that. As well, with this kit, there's a lot of preventative measures to prevent infections and to purify water. So this is just a really great overall kit to have for survival. I think it really helps just round out the rest of this kit. Of course, you don't need a first aid kit, but when you do need it, it's really nice to have it, because you can use sphagnum moss, you can use multiple different things for bandages and to help heal your wounds, but overall having a professional kit with professional gear in it is a lot better than anything you'll be able to replicate out in the woods. I can't get it all to fit on this table, but that has been my 10 essential items for survival. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that, and don't forget to let me know what you guys think. Also keep in mind that I don't have a gun incorporated into this, and I probably would have a gun incorporated, but I wanted to kind of keep this international, so regardless to what country you're watching this in, these are all things that you can get, and pretty much regardless to what country you are in. So that's why why I didn't incorporate a gun. But if you are in a country that does allow you to have really any gun at all, even if it is a small 22, or even if we're not talking about for self-defense, which that's another great capacity they have, but even just hunting. I mean, if you try and hunt with bows, or if you've hunted with bows, you guys understand how hard it can be, especially imagining it without all the nice creature comforts. Like when I go out on a bow hunt, I came from a house or, a nice warm vehicle, as opposed to actually outside where I'm already cold. So I have so many more creature comforts that allow me to bow hunt easier. But in a survival situation, bow hunting can be very difficult. So if you can at all get a gun, I would highly encourage trying to get one if your country allows it to. And even probably I would replace this tripwire with a gun. But if you can't have a gun, I think the tripwire is a really good thing as well, because it also does help you if you're having to survive from humans. You can set tripwire in its old capacity as a trip or alarm device, or even as a trap for stopping humans from getting to you. So you can use this in many different ways. That is one of the reasons why I wanted to throw tripwire in here, is I think overall it's really underrated but extremely useful, especially if you aren't going to have a gun. I would highly encourage using tripwire. Guys, hopefully you've liked that look, and don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and tell me what you guys, or what your 10 essential items are, or what you guys have for your survival kits, or what are really the 10 most essential things to cover in your mind for survival. Don't know.